Hi everyone, I'm Simone and thank you for tuning into my channel. So, as you can see from the title, we're just really getting into the tea of nursing school and why did everybody have a traumatic experience for nursing school and why you could not pay me to ever go back. So, I got notes, baby. Notes. So, let's just get into it. For context, I've been a nurse going on 7 years now. And I just want to be done bedside nursing. Like, although I love my babies and I love my patients, I just don't want to be a bedside nurse forever. So just don't confuse that with me thinking like I just hated being a nurse, like, and hated my job. I loved my job, hate working. But also we're talking about nursing school here. So two totally different things. So I don't regret becoming a nurse, but just know that you could never make me do that over again. Never. So number one is just very top tier trauma. Like, I really don't know. I feel like those people had a vendetta against me. Like, if I could do it, if I had to do it again, I simply would not. Like, if I could do something else, I really should have just been like a mathematician or something like that. Math and science were my favorite subjects. I was amazing in math. Like, loved it. I took extra math classes in college for fun as elective. Like, instead of taking a regular like elective, I took an extra math class. That's how much I loved math, and I was just good at it naturally. So I really, if I could go back, I would have been a mathematician or an accountant or went into IT or something like that. But yeah, I don't think you could have forced me to do. No, I know you couldn't force me to do this again because it was just traumatizing. And let's just get into why. Because I feel like you don't know until you know. Our nursing program in particular was so competitive and so cutthroat. Like, I don't know. I think at the time the school probably had like 5,000 students or something like that. I think there was like 100 and something of us that applied. 100 and something. I don't remember if the cap was like at 100, but it was between 100 and 100 and something of us that applied to get into the nursing program like junior year. Why did only 32 of us make it in? So of all the applicants, 32 of us made it in and only 4 of us graduated. You heard that correctly. 4 of us graduated in my class. That means me and 3 other women. That's it. So that should just already let you know. And I'm not saying some of the other people didn't graduate, period, but they just didn't graduate with our class. They might have had to repeat a class or something like that and so couldn't graduate to the following year. But in my class, there was only 4 of us total. That should already give you an indication of what the heck was going on in that program, because y'all, they just did like so much crap. Also while we were in there, they changed the passing grade. So the passing grade used to be a 76 and then they changed it to an 80. And then in all of the syllabi, I hate that that's the plural for syllabus, but in all of our syllabuses, the syllabi, it literally said a 79.9999. They always used at least 4 nines in the syllabus, is not, in all caps and bolded and underlined, a passing grade, letting you know that basically like we will not round up. We don't care if it's a 79.9. You're still not passing. Good luck in like an arts program, babe. Like, that's just how they were. They were ridiculous. You also could not have more than like, so an 80 was technically a B minus, and you could not have more than 1 C in the program ever. So let's say you took one class, you got a C plus in it. So let's say you had a 79.9 in that class. You wouldn't pass. You would have to take it over again the next year. They don't even offer like a blocked scheduling thing where you could take it the next semester. No. Certain classes are only offered spring semester, certain classes are only offered fall semester. So you would have to wait and take a whole class again 1 full year later, all because of 0.01% that you missed out on. And then let's say you get a C plus again, you're out of the program and you're not even allowed to reapply. You can only have 1 C on your like curriculum basically for nursing. That's just You know how other people like C's get degrees? Not in the nursing program, babe. At least not in ours. So that was already traumatizing enough for people, because when they changed the passing grade, they did it in the middle of a year. It wasn't even like they waited until like, oh, you got grandfathered in and now like that's applying to the next people only, whatever. No, we were literally in the middle of a year and they changed the passing grade. And this one young lady in particular was passing with the old grade of 76 but not passing with the new grade of 80. You would have thought they would have just been like had some mercy or something. No, failed her out of and that made her second C. So she was just failed out of the program, period. Was not allowed to graduate, ended up like going into the military or something. I'm like, yo, these people were so, I feel like literally my blood, sweat, and tears went into that nursing program, and the amount of mental trauma, I'm like, I would just never do that again. Like, they were literally treating people like they were not even human beings. They did not care about your struggles. They didn't care if your mom died. They don't care if like your dog just got ran over this morning. They're like, oh well, come to school, put a smile on your face, and make sure you get an 80% on everything in that class in order to pass, because yeah, it was just insane, literally. One other thing is they were trying to weed people out so badly, which you can obviously tell since only 4 of us graduated that year, but they were trying to weed people out to the point that I asked one of the teachers, I'm like, so what are y'all gonna do if y'all just are this extreme and only one person graduates? Her exact response, well, now I don't remember it verbatim, obviously, but her response was, we don't care if that's gonna give us a 100% NCLEX pass rate. That's all they cared about. Literally, that is all they cared about. And so when I was like, wait, are you serious? Because, you know, like, okay, so let's say that only that one person passes and then they don't pass the NCLEX, then you have a 0% pass rate. Whereas if you would have had 10 people take the NCLEX that year, or 25 or 50, whatever, you still have a better chance of having a higher NCLEX pass rate. But they were like, no, we're gonna have the highest chance of an NCLEX pass rate with only making sure that the smartest, brightest, and best like graduate knowing everything that they need to know in order to pass. And I was like, oh, that's the type of time y'all are on. That's just crazy. From that moment, I just knew. I mean, I already knew before that. Like, I don't even know when was my turning point, but I'm like, yeah, these people don't care about us and our mental health at all, like at all. But I guess technically they did get what they wanted, because the 4 of us graduated and all 4 of us passed on the first attempt. So for that year, they had a 100% NCLEX passing rate, and that's literally all they cared about. They even emailed us after, like as people were passing, they were emailing like, oh look, such and such passed their NCLEX, such and such passed. Like, first of all, who told you I wanted you broadcasting my information to everybody else? That's number one. But yeah, y'all, it was just something else. Also, the clinicals were really far away. Sometimes the clinicals were an hour and a half away too, with traffic. I asked too, I'm like, okay, so what if somebody doesn't have a car? Like, how are they supposed to get to clinicals? And they make you sign an agreement basically at the beginning of the program, like that you're gonna find a way to clinicals. Like, we don't care if you don't have a car. We don't care if you had one and it broke down. Get to clinicals or don't pass the class. That's basically what they said. So we were having to then like switch carpooling between the people that actually did have cars in order to get to clinicals. And then that's stressful too. Like, you're just, I mean, at least me, I was a poor college student. I can't speak for everybody, but I was a poor college student. So I'm just like, dang, all this extra gas that I'm having to also spend. And then our clinicals were 12 hours long. We were working like full regular shifts, quote unquote, in the hospital with the nurses. It wasn't like our clinicals were, you know, you're driving somewhere and you spend 4 hours and you go home. No, we're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning or earlier, driving an hour and a half away to start clinicals at 7 a.m. You're not done until 7:30 p.m. and then driving an hour and a half back home. Like, it was just so ridiculous. Plus the fact that you also had your regular classes that you needed to make sure that you're passing and do your work in. So it was definitely super, super stressful. And then we just had some crazy teachers. I went back recently with like a college tour for one of my cousins, and not one single professor that was there when we were there still was at the school. Not one. We had like maybe two teachers that we actually liked. The rest of them, ill. They were ill, okay? Because I'm like, this one lady in particular, we drove all the way to clinicals. This one also was like an hour and some change away. We get there, she's nowhere to be found. So now at first we're all annoyed because obviously we can't start on time and we all had to be up at probably 4:30 in the morning to get here, and now you're not here. But then we started to get worried, like, dang, was she in an accident? Because she should have at least called us to let us know, hey, I'm gonna be late or whatever. So now we're blowing up her phone. We can't get a hold of her. We try calling her for at least like 45 minutes. All of us taking turns calling her. She's not answering the phone. So then we finally call the school and we're like, hey, y'all want to do a wellness check or something? See if somebody can get a hold of this lady, because why are we all the way out in blank city and where is she at? Nowhere to be found. So they finally get a hold of her, and then she shows up pissed at us because we called the school. And so I guess now they had a record and they knew that she wasn't actually there when she said she was supposed to be there. And now you're gonna be mad at us trying to take stuff out on us. Like, ma'am, huh? But yeah, y'all want to hold us accountable for the things that you're not being held accountable for? No, like, get me out of here. It was really just too much. Then I don't know, I feel like they just had personal vendettas. Like, some of them just really did not like you, no matter, for literally no reason. And then they also wanted to bully you into med-surg. Why? I'm not doing that. So then when you're telling them like, oh, well, I want to do this, and like, well, no, when you graduate you have to do blankety blank, or you have to go work in med-surg or ER or wherever. And I'm just like, just be for real. We're not living in 1967 still. I'm sorry, but I'm not doing that. And so then sometimes they didn't even want to give you like recommendations when you were applying, like after close to graduation, when you were trying to apply for jobs and stuff like that. They didn't even want to, some of them did not want to give you recommendations for specific jobs that were not med-surg. And I'm just like, so then it started to make me feel like, dang, do I want you writing a recommendation for me at all? Because especially if you're not going to let me see it first, what are you even really saying in this letter? Because now I feel like you cannot be trusted. Some of them really just hate their jobs and hate teaching, but yet they're teaching. You know what I mean? It's just like, if you hate it that much, I really need you to do something else, because instead of you being miserable and making my life miserable too, I really wish that you would just quit your job, because it's never ever that serious. You could go do something else. You're a nurse. You're a literal nurse. You can go do anything else that you want to do. You don't have to be here teaching if you like hate it that much. On top of that, I feel like I just have so much student loan debt. And it's just like, was it really worth it? Was it worth it, babes? Because, like, no, the amount of student loan debt that I have is not even, is like, the total amount was like quadruple what I even make in one full year as a nurse. Maybe more than quadruple the amount of student loans I had. Ridiculous. So I'm just like, especially if, I don't know, I just feel like all healthcare workers and teachers, period, should not be in student loan debt. Like, as long as you graduated and you're actually working in your field, I feel like those student loans should be eradicated as if they never simply existed. Because it's really a shame how much debt people go into to do careers that are helping other people. And it's like you have nothing to show for it, because most of the time you're still just middle class poor, and all of these extra loans, and you can't even like live your life for real, because, and when I say middle class poor, I'm like, again, I'm not like diminishing anybody's like life circumstance that's actually living in real poverty. But when I say middle class poor, I just mean like, you're not technically living in poverty and you're not wondering like where your next meal is coming from, but you also don't make enough money to like enjoy your life at all. I feel like all you do is go to work and go home, especially people with kids. I don't know how they were doing it, because I felt like as a staff nurse, I was making enough money to literally just pay all of my bills, save some money, and like invest a little bit of money in my 401k at the time, and then my money was pretty much done. You can maybe take like one vacation a year, That's not living. And then there are people that work tons of overtime to be able to like take a trip every month or whatever they want to do. But I'm not working overtime like that just to be able to quote unquote enjoy my life, because you're really not enjoying it then if 80 hours out of the week you're at work. No, that just was not for me. So I'm still grateful that I'm a nurse, because then especially once I started travel nursing, I was able to really like have the life that I wanted. So it did afford me with the opportunities to be able to do what I wanted to do. But like I said, if you took my degree and my nursing licenses away from me today and said you got to do it over again to get it back, no. So just literally no. But yeah, I just feel like so many people have similar traumatic stories about nursing school in general. And I just wanted to make a video on it. I could vent, put that on, like, yeah. Just let me know in the comments what else y'all struggled through in nursing school, because I know I'm not alone. I feel like every nurse that I know had a traumatic nursing school experience and would not want to do it again. So please tell me what else I missed, and we can really get into some discourse in the comments, because it's actually out of control. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this rant. If you're in nursing school now, it'll be worth it eventually. Don't give up. You already probably have student loan debt, so you might as well just finish. Wait, but if you're already a nurse, you just know what I mean. So anyways, that's really it. Thank you guys for tuning into my video, and I will see you all next time. Bye.